If you're a leader trying to get your message out there today, you already know that just creating more content isn't the answer. In a world this crowded, you don't just need content, you need an architecture for authority. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today, the hub and spoke model. It's the blueprint that actually separates your signal from all that noise.
And to really get why this is so critical, let's just start with the sheer scale of the problem. You're not just up against a few competitors, you are trying to be heard over the noise of an estimated 600 million blogs. Just let that number sink in. It is a staggering amount of content to try and cut through.
But you know what? That competition is only half the battle. On top of that, you've got this number. Almost 69% of all Google searches are now zero-click. What does that mean? It means people are getting their answers right there on the results page from AI, and they never even have to visit your website to get it. So let's connect the dots here. You've got this insane level of competition, and at the exact same time, a world where people don't even need to click your links anymore. It makes it painfully obvious that the old playbook, just publishing a ton of disconnected blog posts, is officially fundamentally broken.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into this crisis of content overload. Then we'll introduce the solution, this hub and spoke architecture. From there, we'll build the business case, why it actually makes financial sense, and then we'll look at how it helps you win in this new era of AI. And we'll wrap it all up with a concrete blueprint you can actually use. So yeah, that old scattergun approach, just firing off content and hoping something hits the mark, that is a guaranteed way to fail when you realize that over 70 million new posts are being published on WordPress alone every single month. And all that volume, that's exactly why AI had to step in and change the rules. We're now in the era of generative engine optimization, or GEO. It basically means that AI is now the gatekeeper of visibility. It's not enough to have a blog anymore. You have to have a structure that an AI can understand, and more importantly, a structure it can trust.
So if that's the new reality, what's the solution? Well, it's the hub and spoke model. It's an architecture that is specifically designed to build this powerful, interconnected web of knowledge for your brand.
Now, what's so cool about this is the total shift in thinking. We are moving away from just a simple, chronological list of articles on a blog. I want you to think of a bicycle wheel instead. Your core topic is the hub at the center, and all your related content pieces are the spokes. It creates this powerful, interconnected structure that proves you're an expert on that topic. And it really just breaks down into two main parts. Right in the middle, you've got the hub. This is your massive pillar piece of content, right? Your ultimate guide to X, or a huge industry report. And then, radiating out from that, you have the spokes. These are all the specific deep dive articles that go into the nitty-gritty details, like a specific how-to guide or a really detailed case study. And you can use that central hub in two really smart ways. First, there's the gated hub. This is for lead generation. You put it behind a simple form and you capture contact info from high-value prospects. Or you can go with an ungated hub. This is just a massive public web page that's engineered to completely dominate the search results for a really big, competitive keyword.
But here's the absolute secret sauce, the most important part of this whole thing. The magic isn't just in the pages themselves, it's in how they're all connected. Strategic internal linking is the connective tissue. It's literally what proves the depth of your knowledge to search engines and to AI. It turns a random collection of articles into a single, unified signal of authority.
Okay, so let's get down to what really matters for any executive. Let's talk about the business case. Because the real question is, how does this actually impact the bottom line? We're talking about moving way beyond simple vanity metrics.
Seriously, the days of celebrating some viral post that didn't make a dime are over. This model isn't about getting empty clicks. It's about intentionally designing a journey for your customer, from the very specific question they typed into Google to a comprehensive answer on your site, and then naturally toward a sale.
And look, the data backs this up in a huge way. You can see it right here in this chart. A single standalone post might get you some traffic, sure, but a big pillar page that's properly supported by a whole cluster of spokes, it gets, on average, 3 to 5 times more organic search traffic. It is literally a traffic multiplier.
And here is the proof in the pudding. The AI company TalkDesk put this exact model into practice. And the result? An incredible 80% jump in revenue that came directly from organic search. I mean, that is the kind of massive commercial impact that gets everyone's attention, and it speaks directly to lowering your customer acquisition costs.
Now let's zoom in on the biggest shift happening in tech right now, AI. Because any content strategy you build today has to be designed from day one to win in this new age of generative engine optimization. It has to be future-proof.
You see, with AI summaries and chatbots becoming the new front door to information, the definition of visibility has completely changed. The goal is not just to rank #1 anymore. The real prize is to be the authoritative source that the AI actually cites in its answers. And a messy, unstructured blog has zero chance of earning that spot.
This table just lays it all out perfectly. Look at that top row, architectural focus. Traditional blogging is isolated, chronological. The hub-and-spoke model is interconnected. And that's why, if you look all the way down at the bottom row, generative AI readiness, the old way is weak. It's just unstructured data. But the new way, it's strong because it provides those clear relationships that AI needs to see you as a definitive authority.
Okay, so we have covered the why in a lot of detail. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the how. Because this isn't just some high-level theory, it's a real strategy with a very clear, achievable implementation blueprint.
You can really break the implementation down into 3 phases. It all starts with conceptualization, doing the hard analysis up front to make sure your hubs are perfectly aligned with what you sell. Then comes hub creation, which is building that incredible central asset. And finally, you have launch and distribution, where you strategically publish your spokes over time to build that authority and momentum.
And here's what that can look like on a timeline. This isn't about trying to boil the ocean overnight. You launch your main hub and a handful of foundational spokes in month 1. Then you strategically expand your reach, you add conversion assets, and you keep that momentum going for about 6 months. It's that steady, deliberate cadence that builds lasting trust with the algorithms.
And look, of course, if you're in a bigger company, scaling this can bring up some unique challenges. You might run into things like keyword cannibalization, where your own pages are accidentally competing with each other, or you find orphaned content that's just floating out there, not linked to anything. But these aren't deal breakers. They're just architectural problems that you can solve with good planning and the right tools. And that really brings us to the main takeaway here. The hub and spoke model is so much more than just a clever SEO tactic. In this new age of AI, it is the absolute structural prerequisite for getting visibility, for building real authority, and for driving measurable growth.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. As AI continues to completely reshape how we find information, I want you to take a really hard look at your own strategy. Is your content truly building a powerful web of authority, or is it just adding to the noise?